let me try this actually too. I will be doing this. Okay. Awesome. Welcome everyone to today's live podcast recording with none other than oh my gosh, Yasser Elsaid. I almost blanked on your name. But hi, Yasser. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Good. You're joining us from Canada, right? Is it Toronto?
From Toronto, yeah.
Awesome. And what time is it now in Toronto?
It's 9 a.m., but it's very close. It's like not. It's like 5 a.m. here. It looks like 5 a.m.
Oh
I
wow.
can't see any sun. Yeah,
Is it snowing by the way?
it's not yet, but soon.
Oh my goodness. It's completely different here in Indonesia. It's 10 p.m. here and it's super hot. Like we have ACs
Wow.
24 hours. Not to brag, but
No, you're bragging. I want to come now.
you won't believe actually. I think you will like it here. There's tons of indie hackers.
I
But
know, like this is the hub for people like trying to build. I know like a lot of people that are building in Indonesia in general, but a lot of people in Bali too.
interesting. Yeah, I'm in the community too. When I said like, yo guys, I am gonna record a podcast with the Chatbase founder, they're like, no way. That is so cool. So yeah, why don't we get started? It seems like we'll have few people join today, but to remind you guys, today is going to be a live recording and we're going to publish the final podcast later on. And whoever is joining today will have a chance to ask questions live. And yeah, why don't we go ahead and get started?
Let's
So,
see.
Yasser, I think the first time I came across your story was somewhere on Twitter. Somebody wrote like this guy made a prototype in 2 months and he was able to scale his business to $3 million annually within the first year. And I at first I thought this is a joke because I have never seen like such a fast-paced growth, especially like from bootstrapped companies. So I am excited to learn how you did it and how was the process like. What was the entire recipe of your success? Because I feel like people need to know just like the even the tactical things because then they can believe that it's absolutely possible. And we also received some of the questions from the audience before the recording on what would they ask you personally, and they're interesting questions that we can dive in today. But yeah, I know that you're originally from Egypt, and I was curious, like, did you always have this like entrepreneurial spirit, or how did the story begin for you?
I would say no. Like the entrepreneurial spirit maybe came after I moved to Canada. Um, so when I moved, I was studying computer engineering back home, and I moved to Canada. I was studying computer science, and then I was like I was just copying what other people around me are doing. So it seemed like everyone was trying to get like a FANG internship. So it just made sense to do the same. And like it's nice. It's a good goal to have. It's like a good job. You meet a lot of smart people. It's depending on what you work on. It's fun. So I just said like as soon as I started my program, my goal now is to get like an internship in the US. Um, but while I was doing that, like while I was studying lead code, while I was uh, like mass applying to all the companies I know, I stumbled onto indie hacking. Indie hacking, like solopreneur, like Peter Levels was the main guy I was following, um, and it seemed like he was having more fun. It's like you can build like a startup from anywhere in the world. Um, you can decide to scale it or not. You can decide like you're happy with this, or you can decide to like onboard more people if you have like a bigger goal. And it's just seemed like more freedom, more fun, more impact because instead of working on like a small thing that like people won't notice at like this big company, the 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 success of what you're doing is based on like how much you do, which is that feedback loop might be not like very prevalent in if you work at a big company. So it
Mm,
just seemed fun, and I couldn't like I had it like in my vision that I might want to do this because I feel like everyone who like sees this would be like somewhat interested.
Mm.
Um, but I continued with my plan of like going doing the internships and all of that. And once I did the internships, I said, yeah, okay, cool. I know what this is like. I want to try the other stuff too. So while I was doing like some of those internships, I started doing side projects to get me into that space. Um, yeah, and Chatbase was the last one.
Interesting. Yeah, I love that Levels is like so popular. I don't know if my audience knows about Levels, but he's like huge on Twitter specifically, and he has these like I love the tagline also. He has a list of his companies, and they're like MRR for each,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's really inspiring. But how many did you build before Chatbase, and when did you start? Was it in college or?
I started 2019, 2020, but those were not startups. It wasn't, it's just like a page that I was building. I did so many, but most of them are not like, I wouldn't call them startups, not even projects. Some of them is just like something I did in 2 weeks. But maybe the real ones, like ones I spend more than 2 months on, would be maybe five projects.
Five.
Only two made money. One of them is Chatbase.
Interesting. And I heard on another podcast you mentioned there was like something that has to do with essays or essay pod. Is that the second one?
Yeah, that's the second one. Yeah,
Oh, I see. How much did it make, if you don't mind me asking?
it's still making like $300 a month.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so
Awesome.
that's real passive income because it's last I checked, I haven't checked, but I think it's like maybe 200 now. Um, because yeah, it's just running, and like I built it. I have like maybe good SEO, and I have another website, like another project that I built that is free. It's called Rate My Courses. So that gets a lot of traffic, and then the students that go there, I send them to SAPal to, and that's how I made the money.
Oh, nice. You even created a funnel. I love how you always think about like the business model too, not just the product.
I mean, I wasn't thinking about the bit like for Rate My Courses. I started it not like I thought I would just put ads like Google ads, but that was so. This I think I made like $1 every 14 days. So yeah, Google ads do not work unless you have like a lot of traffic. And if you do have a lot of traffic, you might as well build a product that people can buy.
Hmm.
So once I did that, like, and I found out that Google ads don't work, it made sense to make a product and then funnel people from the from Rate My Courses.
Mm. And was the Chatbase the only one that was like related to AI, or did you like try out other things?
So SAPal is AI too. It's like
Oh.
AI essay writing. It's just a hello world of AI applications. It's just one call to OpenAI.
Oh, nice, nice. Yes, I also when like researching about you and like your approach, I realized you know how especially in my community of like machine learning, hardcore machine learning engineers and AI engineers, they're like look down on ChatGPT wrappers. And you, on the other hand, said that it's okay to build a ChatGPT wrapper in the beginning just because it's the fastest way to get started. But yeah, do you think it's still the case
It's
or?
the only way to get started. If you want to build a product in AI, it has to be a GPT wrapper or like a wrapper of a model that you're using because you're not a research lab. You're not gonna compete with them.
Hmm.
And it's good that there's a lot of competition in that space because your product is going to benefit from the models getting cheaper, getting better, and all of that. So, like, I embrace being a GPT wrapper. This is a point of pride for me. I think it's the only way to do it. Like, I'm not sure how you can build a startup without relying on what somebody else has built. Like,
Of
this is the
course.
only way to do it.
Yes, but what I mean, like a ChatGPT wrapper is like you only have a one call and you make a demo and you ship it. But like I know, especially being in the indie hacker community currently, people are just trying to like build so many features, and then only then they think about marketing. So like I don't know, I don't think that's right, but.
Yeah, so maybe like when I started, it was easier to market because back then there was not like a ton of GPT wrappers. It was easier to stand out.
Mm,
Back then, it's 2 years ago. It's not that long ago, but less people were building on ChatGPT,
mm,
uh, and so it was easier to stand out. So now you might be forced to actually build something that is not one call to OpenAI.
oh,
Um, And some people say you have to build like a very basic MVP and then maybe build it in like a week and then start marketing. Some people say spend like 2 years building, perfect the product, and then start marketing. And I think it depends on who you are and like what experience you have.
mm,
Because if this is your first startup, it's probably not, or your first project or your first attempt at making money online. It's not gonna probably not gonna work. Like 90%, maybe more, it's not gonna work. So
mm,
you might as well like learn marketing, get feedback very quickly from the users. But if you're like Ilya that worked on OpenAI and you know what you're doing, you can spend as much time as you want to build something that um, because you have the experience, you know what people want, you know what will make a difference, and you will know like what kind of time you need to build it. Then you should spend the time you need to build something good.
mm.
uh, so that's how I think about it. So if you're in the beginning, yeah, like just make something, make a web page and then show it to people.
Mm, and I think like also when looking at your demos because you made couple of them, not just one on Twitter, and it seems like all of them are very short, very precise, and I usually like under 1 minute. And did you like learn to create this? And on a follow up question, like before you answer that, another thing I was wondering is how important is the demo itself comparing to like the product or your first beta version?
Yeah, so the demo for me and for anyone building in AI, because in AI you want to ride the hype, because it's the special thing about building in AI is there's a lot of hype. So it's much easier if you have something impressive to grow. And that's a big if, because now everyone is building in AI, so it's very hard to stand out. But if you have something, it's going to be very easy to get attention once you share what you built. Um, so for me, the demo part was the most important thing, because I know what I built was new, was people would be interested in, because everyone was talking about ChatGPT. ChatGPT was not the same as now. You can only like just send a message and it responds. No multimodality, no adding documents, adding PDFs, all of that. So the idea was very new to talk to your data. It was very new, and it just made me explode, because people got it very easily, because
Mm,
the demo was short, the description was easy, it just made sense. And so just saying ChatGPT for your data, you like in 4 words you understand what I built.
mm,
Um, so yeah, it's if you make like a 10-minute demo, maybe if you already have like an established product, you can make something like that, and people are already interested. But in the beginning, like no one cares. There's like a bunch of people launching products every day. Look at Product Hunt. There's a ton of, yeah, every day someone is launching something new, and most of them are bad. So you want to make it easy for someone that doesn't know you, that doesn't know your product, to easily see what the value proposition is.
mm. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, at the same time, I feel like yes, timing is super important, especially if like you're building alongside the innovation that's happening and there's like a huge wave. But I feel like if you were not prepared for the hype, or especially what happened after, right after your demo, when like the users start coming in and you now suddenly have different issues. Like I was wondering how did that like first few months for you go? Like what were the issues? How did you deal with the demand and everything?
I actually, like, surprisingly, maybe I was delusional, like, because you shouldn't think like that, but I was expecting this to go viral or at least to get some attention,
Ah, uh-huh.
because it's like it just made sense. Like, ChatGPT, everyone's talking about it. This is ChatGPT for your data, for your internal data. It's like, of course, there's going to be demand for this, and I know if I didn't build this now, someone else will. And there was already like I'm not saying I'm the first to like think of the idea. There was already like tutorials, but not products. Like when I started, I didn't find any product doing this, but there was like coding tutorials on how to do RAG. I don't think it was called RAG then, but coding tutorials on how to like inject context to ChatGPT, and that's how I learned about this. So
Mm,
I knew that like there is a the market needs this.
mm,
So it just made sense to launch as early as I can.
mm,
So because back then I also thought that if someone else like did this idea, then that's it. I can't build the same thing because this
mm,
idea is taken, which is now I know it's not true, but this actually helped me because it just like pushed me to launch as fast as I can. So I beat everyone else.
mm.
Um,
Why do you say it's not
and
true though? You said now you know it's not true.
yeah, because I saw like a ton of companies launching after me and doing great, even in the same space. And like you would think the market is perfect, it's really not. You can have like one, you can have multiple winners, but two, if someone does a your idea before you, there's a very high chance what they're doing is there's like a gap in what they're doing. Maybe it's has a lot of bugs. They're not doing good marketing. Um, their customer support is bad. There's a lot of things that can, and probably startups have like multiple of those are not doing well. So just do it better than them. That's and you'll get customers. So
Interesting.
it doesn't have to be like a brand new idea. I actually think it's bad to be a brand new idea because there like you don't know if there is market for it.
Mm. Yeah, that's I. It's interesting that you say that because many people think that the market is saturated, especially when like this field is so dynamic and models are keep getting better and the context windows keeping increasing and like RAG would be irrelevant at the end of the day. But did you feel that pressure at all when these like updates were coming and the context windows were increasing? Were the customers like, okay, we don't need to pay Chatbase anymore, or
Yeah, I like every OpenAI launch was, especially like in the first maybe 6 months, it was not easy. It's because like in the beginning, it was just like you upload a PDF and then you talk to it, which you can do now on ChatGPT. So every like launch, I was waiting, is this it? Is this it? Is this the end of Chatbase? So it was not fun,
wow.
um, but one like now I know even if like OpenAI does something similar to you, like you're like we're 12 people now, and back then we were less than four, so you can pivot, and there's like a lot of opportunity I think in AI. So you just like have to do something, and then be very fast to react to what the market is pushing you to do, or not pushing, but what the market is demanding,
Mm,
and then try to fill those gaps.
mm,
So you just have to be like in AI, you have to be very dynamic because you wake up one day and everything has changed. So
mm,
you have to be ready to like pre-plan everything you're doing. Um,
mm.
and yeah, now I'm less anxious about this because um, like we're building something, like we're building B2B SaaS. It's used for customer support. It's used for sales, stuff like that. One, it doesn't look like what this is. This is what OpenAI is going for. This is like mainly they're focusing on being a research lab and building a consumer product, like consumer facing AI. Um, so like by over time, like this anxiety went down. Like now I feel more like stable, more confident. The same thing with the other labs too, like Anthropic and Gemini. Um, sorry, what was the question? I forgot.
What do you mean? I was gonna ask, what do you mean like consumer facing? Aren't they? You were saying that they're becoming more consumer facing nowadays, like these bigger models.
It's like they're putting a lot of focus on ChatGPT, trying and like there's rumor. I don't know what they're building, but like the even the search functionality. that they added is they're trying to compete with Google and like other search platforms. So it seems like they're trying to go uh, like show their models to as many people as they can through like building good products, good consumer products.
But then, isn't that supposed to be like frightening instead?
So what I'm doing now is more B2B. So we're selling to companies that want to do customer support and sales.
Mm,
And I don't think like OpenAI is going to build like a CRM or a ticketing system. So, and even if like right now, there's also a lot of competition that some people like they want different models, different things. They want like a specific way for like ticketing, a specific way to like track users. So the, I think the market is big, and there's like right now there's a lot of players in the market, but none of them are really good.
mm. But I guess let's get back to like the story of how you launched and how you managed to scale. What was the tech stack when you just launched, and how did that evolve throughout that first year? Let's say.
So because I was building the other projects before Chatbase, I had like an idea on how to build it. So I was using the same stack. I'm using Next.js, React, Node.js, deploying to Vercel and Supabase, um, and it's scaling well. Like big companies use the stack, small companies use the stack. So we didn't have like a problem. Maybe like some problems that but are normal problems that any companies will face, like technical problems. But it's been scaling well for us.
Hmm. But in the beginning, you said you just started with like, was it LangChain, ChatGPT, and
Yeah, yeah. So we used LangChain, and I think like in my first ever tweet about Chatbase, I mentioned LangChain and Pinecone, and we're still using them. So Pinecone is our vector database.
hmm, interesting. I see. And yeah, I was gonna get into the financials, but we have so much more to cover. Um, so I was wondering, how did you scale the team? Who was your first hire? Like, does that matter who your first few couple of people are? Is it like customer support, maybe software engineers? How did you manage all of that?
Yeah, so I think this is the hardest part. And going into it, I didn't realize that this is like the biggest bottleneck to grow is to be able to. I thought like, hey, once I have the revenue, I'll just hire this, and this, and then we're gonna grow. Um, and it's very hard to like find the person you're looking for, and like there's a lot of problems that comes with like hiring more and more people. Um, but right now like I think I got a lot better at it. But I think yeah, like the first few hires, it's gonna like make or break your company, because those first few hires, they set the mindset of the company. They set like the culture. I know the culture, like that term is maybe more used in like bigger companies, but they said like how what is expected, what we're trying to build, how much do we care about quality, how much we care about what we're building. Is this just a paycheck, or do we actually care about what we're building? And um, for me, I think I was lucky because I was like the first person to join Chatbase was my friend, and then the second person was another one of my friends. So and I think yeah, I think that's a good way to do it, because you want to work with someone that, especially those first few people, they have to be people that you trust. You know they're good,
Mhm.
because you don't want to spend a lot of time in those first uh, early days of the company, uh, trying to like find if this person is good or not. You just want to
Mm,
believe that you know that they're good, and then you can start like building stuff.
Were they all software engineers or?
Yeah.
Hmm. And so the first two were software engineers, and what about the fourth one, fifth one?
Yeah, so then we started to hire more customer support. Um, and then it became easier because they know some people, I know some people, like friends of friends and stuff like that. But then after some point you need to like make a job post, see who applies. It's people you don't know, go through the interview process, and yeah, see if it's a fit.
Hmm, I see. But yeah, Vivian says trust and share the same vision is important. I can absolutely agree, and I feel like that's the hardest thing actually. And not that many people have friends that also share like the same interests, or especially if like they want to do this, have the same goals. So it's nice that you had that option. Was that like friends from college or something?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, and it turns out like you guys were pivoting quite a lot. When was your next pivot after the first launch? And why'd you guys do that?
Yeah, so because I was panicking, that's the main reason. Like, first thing we launched is, I'm not sure if you saw like the first demo we did, but it's just upload a PDF and talk to it.
Yeah.
And now it's like there's like demos online or like open source projects online that you can use. Like you can click one button, add your OpenAI key, and it's gonna work. So and I knew this was going to happen, so it just made sense to build something more with like a higher barrier of entry, so
Mm,
that like less and less people copy you. And this is, I think, a lot of people ask like, "What's your moat?" I think it's the same as like any software product, which is just like building a product, moving fast, adding features, listening to customers. Um, just like any other software product, like over time you build more and more of that moat. And um, I don't think there's like anything special about like building in a SaaS in AI than like building a SaaS before all of that.
mm, mm,
um, but so yeah, like I knew this was going to happen. I saw a lot of products doing the same thing, and from talking to customers, it seemed like there is a lot of need from business owners to use this like a customer facing chatbot for their business. So we pivoted more towards like AI chatbot on your website,
mm.
and just like listening to customers, building features. It pushed us more towards like the customer support and like just customer experience
Mm.
um, use case. So
Yeah.
that's what we're doing right now.
Oh,
And in that area, like it's there's a lot of features that are not just a call to OpenAI. Like you're building analytics to know what people are asking about. You're building like sentiment analysis tools. Um, you want to have observability. You want to know like what the LLM was thinking when it was answering. Now we added agents, so the AI can take actions on behalf of the users. Um, it's like you want to have a ticketing system so that like the AI doesn't like refund someone. You want to have like a human in the loop to approve of like some tasks that are not you don't trust the LLM to do on its own. So now it's much more than one call to OpenAI, and this is what you want. This is the moat, is building all of that, like this suite
mm,
of tools.
And how many did you have to like talk to hundreds of like customers, or how did it go for you? Do you just like on calls all day long, or?
No, I think I should do that. It's just like because I was lucky to have interest from like the first few days, that people who were sending us saying like, "Hey, can you add this? Can you add this? Can you add this?" And some of those people like I had calls with to see exactly what they need. But once you like have all of this, you kind of have like an idea on of what you're trying to build.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah. So I think many people forget that feedback is like number one driver of the business, especially
But the
when.
thing is, like, you shouldn't just like build whatever your customers ask. You wanna be smart about it, because in the beginning, like we were building Chat GPT for your PDF, so there's like tons of use cases. Like people like one students were using it to upload textbooks and then ask questions, and then business owners were using it to upload like company data and then talk to it. So there was a ton of use cases, and you can't just add every feature that everyone is asking for. You want to
Mm,
have like a vision on what you're trying to achieve, and once you have that, then you talk to you talk to users to make that vision, and then once you have that vision, you can decide what features you want to add, what features you want to dismiss, and
mm,
what features that you didn't get from customers, but you know this is needed. Because sometimes customers, they don't know what they want. They know the problem they have, but they don't know the solution.
mm.
And using your experience, you can find the solution to their problem without them asking, "Hey, can you build this for us?"
Mm. But how do you like initially like create that vision? You said like first you need to get the feedback, but also do you just research other like I don't know subreddits or just like other look around on other communities what they're doing and or what's becoming more popular? How do you create that end vision?
It's all of that. It's and it's iterative too. Like your vision can change tomorrow. It's not that you like talk to users, go to communities, have a vision, and then it doesn't change. It's you talk to users, you see like what the market is doing, what other companies are doing, what is going viral, what people need. That gives you an idea on like where the market is headed. You talk to users, you check like communities, and then you also see like what you as a person, what you want to build, what excites you, and then you have a vision, then you start building, and then this is something you do every day as a founder. You keep doing that, and then if it doesn't change the vision, that's great. If it does, you have to communicate that with your team, to be able to like steer in the right direction.
Hmm. Sounds like you're pushing to production a lot, like
Yeah.
a lot more often than other people.
Yeah, I mean that's the only thing we have, because there's a lot of competition. Everyone has access to the same technology. So the only thing you can do as a company to stand out, to build your moat, is quality and speed. So that's what I'm trying to optimize for.
Hmm. But how do you decide, like, since nowadays it's not just you? I know, like, when you're just one person, you can move really fast, break things, and go forward. But, like, when you have, let's say, a team of other, like, I guess they're also decision makers, software engineers, how do you decide if they have, like, ideas for feature or their own vision? How do you guys decide and how do you guys, like, go this fast together?
So it's still something we're trying to learn, but I think it's getting better. Um, like as you add more people, you might get slower, but we're trying to not have that. So the way we work is in like teams of three or four, depending on the feature we're trying to build, and you just trust that these people, like you just give them like exactly what you need, and then you trust them to build exactly what you need. Of course, you have to be like in the details. You have to understand what they're building, what's the timeline and all of that. But it just comes down to the people you hired are smart, and they want to work hard. They're interested in the product, and the rest is just details. But if you have those, you're gonna move fast and build good software.
Hmm. I love that. Yeah, I see how like the culture is super important, especially like if you're a small team, everyone needs to move fast. But yeah, as you mentioned something about agents. Like these days, everyone is talking about AI agents. They want to build like before. I love how the cycle of AI hype just always like moves. I feel like Rag was like on the spotlight for like a year there, and now the spotlight is moving to AI agents. And you mentioned that you're building with it. What are you guys doing?
So the term AI agent right now, like there is no, it doesn't have any meaning because everyone is using it in a different way.
Hmm.
Um, but for us, what we're building is customer facing AI agents. So instead of just a chatbot that you can talk to, ask questions to, it answers you. It's an agent. And when I say agent, it's the same chatbot, but it can take actions. depending on the context of the interaction. So you can imagine if you're using it as like a customer support tool, um, instead of saying like, hey, I want to add like this, like this is an example tool. Let's say your tool, you have like a button that creates a new project on that tool. So instead of like clicking around the website to like create a new project and then change the settings or something like that, imagine just talking to the AI, saying, hey, like create a new project. This is the settings for it. And then you click enter, and then it happens on the platform you're using. So this is an example of someone using AI agent inside their platform. So anything that you can do by clicking around, you can give access to the agent to do on the user's behalf. So you can just tell it, hey, like do this and this and this, and then it does it for you. So this is an example um, for like a SaaS tool that is using AI agents. But even for e-commerce, you can say, hey, I have this problem, and then the agent can like try to fix it for you. But then if it doesn't, it can go take an action, and the action is creating a ticket to a human support agent that takes over the conversation. Or the action can be um, submitting like a refund request that is only going to be approved if the human agent clicks approve. So it's not only um, responding to questions as a normal chatbot, it's taking actions, it's making changes, and it's also like fetching live information from other tools. Like imagine we're working on a Stripe integration. So you can tell the chatbot, hey, I want to see my invoices. So it goes talks to the Stripe API, gets the invoices, and then shows them to you in the chat. Or you can say, hey, I want to upgrade my plan to this. It also goes talks to the Stripe API, upgrades your plan, and then tells you your plan was upgraded successfully.
Mm,
So yeah, it's
my gosh,
chatbots that can take actions. Yeah,
I have goosebumps. I don't know.
I mean
What is it?
it's crazy. Like it's if we build this right, and there's like some companies that are doing this, but it's yeah, it's crazy. It's gonna change the world, I think, because or it's gonna change at least the world of customer support.
Yeah, I was just thinking about like how much time and like energy and emotion, negative emotion will save from
Yeah,
like not talking to customer support.
yeah.
But like it's interesting because like we had all this opportunities when ChatGPT was released. We could like do those things back then too. Why now? Why now everyone's just all of a sudden realizing we can build agents?
So they're not realizing. I actually like this is a very good question because while we were working on it over the last like 3 months, I was like trying to check, see like who's doing this, if anyone else is doing this, like why isn't anyone else doing this? And there is like some people are building prototypes of like those agentic flows. Some like maybe startups have something like this in production, but maybe it's not perfect. Um, but the real reason is like why this isn't widespread. Like why if you go to any like website, you're not gonna find that, is because one, even if the technology is here, it takes time for people to adopt it, and especially bigger companies, like there's a lot of regulations. They wanna you have to go like through a process to uh, for them to start using like AI tools like this. So that's one thing. And the other thing is just like the market is not perfect. And that means even if a technology is ready now, and even if it's capable of doing something, it doesn't mean that this thing is going to be out tomorrow. Because whoever is building this is a company, and companies have a lot of problems. They might have like cash flow problems. They might have like problems in their culture. They might have a
Mm,
slow like support team, and they might have like other problems they're working on.
mm,
So it takes time for companies to actually like build that and ship it to users.
mm,
And that's why the technology has been like around for a few months, like agents. But
mm.
it's not prevalent yet because one, companies take time to actually like build a production ready tool, and two, customers take time to implement them in their like operations.
Interesting. I think like there are many things, as you said, like even though technology is there, people first of all like think it's. For instance, before you explain it to me how chat-based agents would work, before I would be like, why would anyone give access to do whatever on your behalf? And the way you explained was like, okay, before you do something, execute the code or something, you have to ask for permission. And the moment you said that, I'm like, okay, now I'm like wondering why nobody's using that. And as you said, I feel like when you mentioned like it depends on the company that are trying to push that to production, but maybe also because there's so many like edge cases that you need to account for, especially with like agents. I mean, RAG is like is just the data types that you have to account for, like different like formats of like PDF or code or MD files or whatever. But with agents, what are the edge cases? I feel like that might be the biggest bottleneck. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, so that's yeah, it's very easy to build like a prototype, share the demo, but it's very hard to build something production ready. So it's one, secure, two, it works with edge cases, which is not easy. For us, this took like some time to build because you want to have security right, because you connect to other tools. You want to make sure that the person asking for invoices gets their own invoices, and they can't have access um, to like any other user data.
Yeah.
So these are the details that matter in like the production application.
Mm,
The other thing is edge cases, because if you want to make a demo, you can like ask the perfect prompt that is gonna like trigger the flow that you want to show,
yeah.
but you want to make it work for when like a real user is using it,
Mm,
which they don't know like how to use it, so they're gonna type whatever they think, and like your platform's resiliency shows when real customers are using it. Um,
mm.
and I
But
think that's why it takes time to build something like that.
mm, but like as you said, you need to focus on like the main things and then ship it right away instead of trying to account for every single possible way a customer can use it. So what? How do you like even think about what is a more or less universal version that could be pushed to production, that could be scaled, that could interest many people, especially in the agents case?
I actually think I actually don't think that. I think maybe in the beginning you should do that. Like in the beginning, if you're launching a new product, just push something that works, even
Mm,
if it's not perfect. But I feel like at like this stage of Chatbase, we're moving more towards um, making sure like everything works, making sure that like because we're competing with a lot of companies, we want to make sure that the quality people get on Chatbase is they can't find anywhere else, and that's like one of the reasons you would choose Chatbase over something else. So it's this shift between like hey, like we want to push as soon as we can, because even if it doesn't work, we're going to get customers.
mm,
Two, like hey, let's not push bad code to production. Let's actually make sure this thing works. It works in a lot of use cases. There's
mm,
no bugs. Of course there's going to be bugs in production. You want to fix them as soon as you can, but um, like once you have real customers, once you already people trust you, you don't want to break that trust. um, so so right now this is why I'm saying it takes time to go from a demo to a production ready tool.
mm. Yeah, I mean, I guess like you also have, I would say, like a good standing when it comes to like actually using the opportunity of like deploying with agents, because number one, you have already worked with AI in production, and you have customer base that can give you feedback, and that's why quality matters, because I guess losing a customer is a lot more expensive than gaining a new one. But for someone who wants to like work with agents but do not have the same opportunity as you do right now, what would you suggest them to look into? Maybe like also another thing is like many people ask about the ideas. Maybe it's a relevant thing to ask as well. How what would you suggest them?
So like you can do the same thing I'm doing. It's there's a lot of competition, but as I said, like it depending on who you are, if you have confidence that you can build something better, and you can look at those products and see, like all of them are gonna have problems, or all of them do not work perfectly. So if you have confidence that you can build something better, just do it, even if there is like if you think the market is saturated. So that's one thing. But I think something that might be less saturated, which might have like a better opportunity, is vertical
Yeah.
AI agents.
Mm.
And I think Sam Altman mentioned something like that. But there's a lot of companies that are getting ton of funding in like AI agents for lawyers, AI agents for healthcare, even like AI agent, like what I'm doing, AI agents for customer facing AI agents or customer experience. So like those vertical, because the AI agent itself, we're all using the same technology, but what you build around it is what like the companies are missing, because the companies they have access to the models the same as you, but depending on what you build, you have to like have a lot of things around the model to make it work in production, and um, for them to trust it enough to put it in front of users. So
Mm.
that's I think that's what you should be building. So you should research those like vertical implementations of AI agents, see what other people are doing, and once you surround yourself with all of those ideas, you might actually come up with something new, because looking from the outside, you don't know if you don't know anything. You don't know if there's like a gap in the market. You don't know if this maybe like this AI agent company, they're not like focusing on this specific feature and there is demand for it. So you just have to jump in, see what people are doing, see what the technology is capable of, and then once you spend like month or 2 months on this, you'll see gaps in the market, and then you can build. And this is exactly what happened with me with Chatbase. I was building SAPal, which as I told you was one OpenAI call, uh, and then once I read the documentation, once I joined the Reddit's subreddit for OpenAI and like LLMs, once I joined the Discord groups, once I started to be involved, RAG came up, and that's how I got started. So there has to be something similar. If you surround yourself with like, if you want to build an AI agents, just learn as much as you can, and the gaps are going to show up, and then you can start. Even if there is no gaps, you will have learned so much that you can build something already existing, but you can make it better. Uh,
Mm.
so that's what I would do.
Mm. But Yasser, your story was not vertical though. You just simply just like started with the one feature. It wasn't. Yeah.
But because like it's the same framework, it's just I knew I wanted to build an AI, so I just surrounded myself with AI resources until like some opportunity came up
Mm.
um, to build. And you also like you know that you have to know that the first thing you build is not gonna
Mm.
be like that. You're not gonna work on it for like 5, 6, 10 years. You're probably gonna have to pivot. You're probably gonna have to uh, react to the market changing. So
Mm.
you also, because there's like a lot of people that started something similar to Chatbase when I started, but they did not succeed, or I can't I can't find them anymore. I can't find their tools, and I think the reason is they were not fast enough to adapt to the
Mm.
market changing, and uh,
Mm.
trying to like pivot to other ideas.
Mm. And how often do you like pivot? Is it like in 3 months or depending on the situation?
Like there is no free. It's just depending on the situation, yeah. And maybe in the beginning of a product, it's very easy to pivot, so you can just do it as much as you want. But as you have like more users, as you have more uh, people on the team, it gets harder. But if the market demands it, and if you see like a dead end to what you're doing now, you're gonna have to do that, to make that decision.
Hmm. I love this. For the people in the audience, we have a few people watching. Feel free to ask questions that are we're talking about right now, or also towards the end, we'll have a few minutes to answer. But Yasser, so like I've been reading about scaling laws of AI and how I don't know if you heard, but like apparently these days we're reaching the limit of what's possible with our current infrastructure, and many people are speculating that this is the time where we need to be focusing more on the application side and the UX side. Do you think that's true? And if that's true, like, are we in the golden age of like building with AI, or what's going on?
So one, I don't know, like there is a lot of noise in the AI space, and you kind of don't know what's true or not. Like you can watch something or like read an article that makes you feel like this is it. We're not gonna like this is the maximum of LLMs. We're gonna have to find something else. And then you can read like another article in the same paper that says like AGI is like 6 months away. So it's very hard to like keep up with all of that noise. I think like even like most of the people watching us, um, if you're interested in building like a product, if you're interested in building in the AI agent space, or not even AI agents, like just building on top of LLMs, you should just do it. If the LLMs get better, it's probably good for you because this is what your core technology is. If they don't, then even right now they're capable enough of doing a lot of things that they're not doing. Like there's no mass adoption, and your job is to make that happen. So I think like I don't think about this that much. I try to like follow what's happening, but unless there is like something concrete, it's like you're gonna get distracted a lot, and it's gonna change your plans. So just continue working and then see what happens, or at
Mm,
least that's what I do.
But in your like story of pivoting, do you think like the updates in the with the models or updates with like API providers, did that change your like was that ever the core reason of your pivot?
Yeah, so there's a difference between like hype cycles, and like you have to be able to know the difference, but there's a difference between like hype cycles, like or maybe rumors, or because if you find something that says this and then a day after find something that says the opposite, then you don't know what to think. But some other things, like if OpenAI launches something or Anthropic launches something, this is a fact. This is going to change the market, so you have to adapt. Um, so for us, most of the pivots were like on concrete data, or like not even concrete. You can, for me, I just knew that this is going to happen. Like I knew the next step for OpenAI is probably to allow you to add data. It's not. It didn't take like a rocket scientist to think about this, but um, I don't think you should make like big startup decisions on like what you're trying to do based on an article saying the scaling laws or an article saying AGI is coming in 6 months, because I don't think even the research lab knows what's going to happen. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Interesting. Oh, that's a bold statement. We always think like Ilya Sutskever and like Andre Karpathy, they know everything, but you're saying they don't. Nobody
I
knows
don't think
everything.
they do. Yeah, I don't think they do. I think they have like this is just an assumption, but I know they have like a path, or maybe it's a clear path on what they need to do to achieve the next big step in AI. But how long it's gonna take, if there's gonna be problems along the way, this is all like very new stuff. They're stuff that no one has ever done before. So I think even if they do have a path, I think the timelines no one knows. And you see that when like you watch like those leaders speak, it's they never like give a specific like date on when something is going to happen. Um, so I think for us, like for people like trying to build applications on top of that, I don't know, just build it. Um, yeah.
I love that. I love that. I always see, I feel like I'm talking with a Twitter representative here because that's what I hear all the time. Just build, just ship it. Don't think about it. I love
Yeah, but just ship, but also because this is something maybe um, I disagree a bit with Twitter. I think you should also like care about quality a lot, not ship as soon as you have some. Maybe in the beginning you should because you don't have customers, but once you have a product, the your moat is the quality of your product. So don't just ship. Actually, put like thought into what you're building. Like make sure it's presentable to your customers because you care about them. And once you have that, then you ship.
Mm. But I feel like that's such a like a subtle art because everyone else is just screaming at you like you gotta do it fast because I mean we're in the most fast paced industry ever. How do you like keep up with that pressure?
Yeah, so we do get like a lot of pressure from our customers too because they see like, hey, voice from OpenAI is here. Why is it not on Chatbase? And so it's yeah, it's as you said, it's an art. You have to find the balance between moving fast and not shipping garbage. That's like the most important thing. And once you have that, then you're probably gonna win. And like between all the companies that are you're competing with. Um, and the other thing you want to like make sure that your customers are happy, even if you tell them this is going to take a long time. You want to make sure they understand why. It's kind of like you want to have a lot of being transparent, and maybe that's something I'm trying to get good at. Um, to make sure that your customers know why this is taking too long. And once they know, they give you like a lot of slack, like, hey, sure, take the time you need, but like once it's delivered, I'm expecting something great. And that's the like relationship I'm trying to have with our customers.
Interesting. So you're like, I'm cooking something and it's going to be
Exactly.
delicious.
Yeah, exactly.
Just wait for it. And if
Let
it,
me cook. Yeah.
yeah, and if it's bad, then like, no, it's not. It's
If
not.
it's bad, we're not gonna ship it anyway. So we're just gonna tell
Oh,
them. Yeah.
nice. Does that mean you guys test every single line of your code, or what's going on?
So this is, I think, so because we're still like a very young company, we're shifting towards that. And so I think in the beginning, ship as fast as you can. As you have customers, as you have more people like using you in production, depending on you, then you shift more towards like making sure that the quality is there. And this is what we're trying to achieve now.
I see. That's awesome. I love this. I hope our listeners got super inspired from our talk today. But let's see if we have any questions that we can take. Uh, so, hello, Marian Yasser is a fresh graduate, used to study AI and machine learning by her own. What is the best advice from each of you? Oh, that's an interesting one. I think that's very broad. But Yasser, do you want to go first
Best advice if you want to work in AI.
for
I
college?
mean, like, yeah, this is, it depends on what you want. Um, if you want like if you want to build in the like like you maybe decide where you want to build. If you want to build in the application layer, do that now. If you want to contribute to the research, I think it's an easy, like it's not an easy, of course it's not easy, but it's clear where you want to apply and where you want to have people know you. Maybe uh, talk publicly about like what you're doing in that space and try to like get their attention. Um, yeah, that would be, it depends on like what your goal is in like that space.
I love that. I wanted to add to that actually because I feel like many people are just confused and overwhelmed with the amount of like opportunities AI brought to us, and I love that. I've been also deciding for myself which side I want to go because one part of me like is really excited about research and it finds it fascinating, but I know that if I will just get stuck on the research, I might miss out on the application layer, and application layer is also like business related, which is my background. But I think these days I'm honestly fascinated of that by the application too. so,
Yeah,
so my ADHD is just like everywhere.
the GPT rappers are winning.
Oh my god, I can't believe Can't believe it's coming out of my channel. But awesome. Yeah, Salwa, I think that was a great advice from Yasser. I would back that up. Um, Master Hassan is asking, what are you focusing right now and what are you building in the near future? Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, so we're focusing. We actually just released actions in beta on Chatbase, and this is the feature I was mentioning, where the agent can take actions on behalf of the user. So we're just like trying to get feedback from the customers, see what they want, and we just released actually something called custom actions, which is the agent can talk to any API you give it. So like you can give it an API that tracks the stock market, and then now it has access to find information about stocks. You can give it an API that gives you cat pictures. It can find cat pictures online and then shows them. It's so you can then you the cool thing is you can give it APIs that are specific to your business. One, you can get real-time data about your business, and two, you can make changes on your platform. So you can give it a specific API that like does something internally inside your business, and then instead of asking someone to do it, you just ask the agent to do it, and then it goes calls that API and handles it for you. So like the actions part is what we're focusing on mostly, and how that is gonna look like in front of customers, like in a customer facing way, in like customer support and sales.
Mhm. That's awesome. Yes, Ramesh is asking what may might be the best strategy or idea for an AI freelancer to start build build a startup in India. I had a follow up question with Ramesh on that. What do you think about the like just people that not just like SaaS but also people freelancers that are trying to get into the field? Maybe it's a good idea to like help adopt those tools like Chatbase. I don't know if that's
Yeah, a lot of like some people are making a lot of money with Chatbase. Like if you go to Upwork and search Chatbase, you'll see like Chatbase specialist, Chatbase expert.
oh wow.
Basically, what they do is help companies, and it's very easy. But like some companies, they don't want to bother, like just get someone to do this for us. So they just go on Upwork, Chatbase specialist or Chatbase expert, and then they pay that person to onboard them on Chatbase or to make the integration with their systems. Which is, if you've used Chatbase, it's like it's not even code. It's not even no code. It's just like clicking around some button. So it's very easy. So some people do that. But this might be like a good start because it's very easy. It gets you like exposed to the companies interested in AI, but also the tools. So you can do this with other tools other than Chatbase. But I think the step above that is a lot of companies, they just want to do AI. They don't even know what they want to do with AI, but they get like pressure from the shareholders, from the CEO, like, hey, this AI thing is happening. How do we use it? So you can make it your job to answer that question for them. So you can be an AI consultant. So you should study, understand like RAG. There's a lot that goes into it. So you can understand like the advanced RAG concepts, agentic RAG, contextual RAG, stuff like that. And it's actually very easy because that whole thing like did not start like that whole area is just like 2 years old. So if you spend like a month working on this, you're going to be an expert, like maybe top 1%. Um, so just like study that, study agents. You don't have to build anything, just study and then have like a web page, say like paid consultation for AI. Try to market it on Twitter, on Reddit, on YouTube, LinkedIn, and then do outbound and inbound. And then some people make a ton of like some people charge like thousands of dollars an hour for a consultation, AI consultation.
wow. Wow.
So like if I wasn't doing chat based, I think this is a very good option too.
I love that. I actually had that question on my list. I forgot to ask you. But are you serious though? Is that what would you be doing if it wasn't building chat base? Or if you were
If
to?
I'm not like building a company, yeah, I think that's like I'm interested in AI, so that's good because that's what I'm going to be learning. But the other thing, you can make a lot of money. You get to work with a lot of like cool companies building in that space, um, and I don't think it's hard because the space is very new. That there's not a lot of like there's a lot of noise, but once you like pass through that noise, get to like the heart of the stuff, you can be the top 1% in that field. Like not building a product is hard, but just understanding all of the concepts around like LLMs, RAG agents, and all of that. I think 2 months or something like that should be enough. The hard part would be to get customers, to get companies to pay you, but there's like such a big demand from companies and a lot of pressure to like add AI somehow that there's a lot of incentive for people to pay you just to say like we paid this person to add AI for us, so that they can go tell their managers, hey, like we're doing something about this. So
Wow.
I think there is a big opportunity, and I already know people doing this.
Wow. We
So
this sounds interesting to me. I might start doing this too.
yeah, I think it's interesting for anyone. It's amazing, yeah. Especially if you have a platform to market this.
Hmm. Yeah, you gave me good ideas today, but actually on data science actually. So I do have many people that are hardcore data scientists, but are not so much software engineers. And I know that in order to build these things, you gotta have engineering skill set. So what do you think? Like, is it what would you recommend them? Just maybe they should take up on JavaScript and like start building, or do you think they can just build something with Python and ship it, or how do you think? Do they still have a chance building something like Chatbase?
Um, I think what I would do is find someone with like a software engineering background and to work with. Um, I think that's like if you're actually serious about doing this, that's what you should do. But I still think that you can do it on your own. It's going to take some time and it's going to take effort, and you're going to have to rely on a lot of AI tools. So there's like a bunch of tools you can use: Cursor, Bolt.new, V0 from Vercel. All of those like help you translate your ideas into code. It's not going to be perfect. Maybe it will be like maybe in the next model is going to make them much better. But right now it's not perfect, and it's going to be a lot of iterations. But you can like build at least an MVP doing that. And once you have that, you can start hiring actual like once you have that, maybe you could convince a VC to invest or like an angel to invest, and then um, once you have the money, you can start hiring and then like building on top of what you already have.
Hmm. By the way, are you guys planning to raise at all?
I'm still like not sure to be honest. If we do raise, it will be to more for like connections and yeah, more for connect. If OpenAI, for example, wants to fund us, well, like I'm gonna have that conversation, but it's not like it's not specifically just because we need the money. It's more because like we need the backing of like a big VC or a big company or their connections or their reputation.
Hmm. So to stay competitive, to stay like
Yeah,
afloat. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Because like that, yeah. Maybe it's something that maybe is hard for us. That it's a bit easy for VC-backed companies is social proof, because some people look at Chatbase, they don't see like a funding round, or because we didn't need to, like we're already making a lot of revenue. But if you didn't spend like time trying to get to understand the product, and you see like a product with no funding and a product with 30 million in funding, you assume that the 30 million in funding is going to stay because it has like some social proof. But it can be the case that this other product is not making any revenue, and because we are making revenue, we did not need to raise. Um, so yeah, the only reason would be like for that connections, the social proof, the reputation.
I honestly think, Yasser, like bootstrapping is the social proof. I honestly have a lot of respect for bootstrapped startups, and not so much VC funded, I will be I'll
Yeah,
be straightforward with that because I mean I lived in San Francisco for 10 years and I've seen those firsthand, those companies that have like tens of millions of dollars. Actually, these days companies are raising in hundreds and two hundreds of millions of
yeah,
dollars with no product market fit whatsoever. So I think that's just I don't know. I don't think that's business, honestly.
yeah,
Whatever you guys are building is a lot more impressive. So, yeah, but we're almost, I think we're over 1 hour already, but let's take one more question. We can wrap this up. What do you think?
yeah.
Uh, you can decide whichever you want to take. Or if you guys want
Um,
to ask, whoever wants to ask last question, feel free to do so.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Oh no, I was telling people if
Oh, okay.
if they want to ask the question, this is the only chance they get.
Yeah, I think someone is saying, can you share strategies to get customer for AI product in your case for Chatbase?
Hmm.
Um, so I think Twitter is big because a lot of like everything new is happening, and I think LinkedIn is like maybe 2 3 weeks late to everything that is happening on Twitter.
Wow.
So yeah,
Guys,
like every new product that launches, the investment rounds, the it's if you're actually serious about building in I think you should join that community.
Twitter
And
community.
then yeah, my goal would be to build something that I can demo that people will find interesting, and that's how you get your initial users. So that's one way. The other way, if you're building like an enterprise software, then it's more sales. You just have to like call them, cold email. But for me, what I've done and what I know is just trying to get as much interest as I can from people in the space.
Mm, I love those. I guess guys stop scrolling LinkedIn, start scrolling Twitter. That's what that means.
Maybe scroll both. Yeah,
Or scroll both. Yeah, scroll both because I'm on LinkedIn mainly.
yeah,
Yes, and by the way, Yasser is also creating content, mainly updating on his life on Twitter live. So check out his profile. We should share your link actually. Let's share your link so people can find you. Let me put it up here. But if you want to take one more question, I guess we could do that because we had a little more people join. Yes.
yeah. So someone asked how to start with the AI application layer. I think I mentioned this a bit, which I think the first step, if you're not already doing this, is to just go all in like the community, follow like everything that new that is happening, follow like all the subreddits, Discord groups, Twitter, LinkedIn, um, just to know what is happening in the space and actually study. So following social media is like good to know what is happening, what is new and what is not, but you will not be an expert by just like following people and reading like posts. Once you have something that you think is interesting, like once you see people talking about RAG, go like actually read articles on RAG, watch videos on RAG. Once you know about agents, do the same thing. LangChain, do the same thing. LangFlow, do the same thing. Those other tools that you can learn, do the same thing. And I actually truly believe is if you spend like maybe 2 months doing all of that, and you know what is happening in the space, you know all the new tools, opportunities are going to come up. Like from outside, you don't know what you don't know. Once you're inside, the gaps are going to start showing up, and then you're going to know if this is something you want to build or not.
Mm,
Um, yeah,
I love that. And like, you are you still guys using LangChain?
we are, yeah, but not like for the whole product. For it's for some parts.
I love that. See, guys, LangChain is not dead. It's far from dead. Many people hate on LangChain. I think it's serving its purpose, but yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming in today. We learned a lot from your journey. And if you guys are watching this, check out Yasser's Twitter handle. I put it up there. And we are excited to see what's next for Chatbase. And keep us updated on Twitter.
I will. Thank you so much. And thanks for everyone who watched.
Yes. Bye bye.